you're driving me. Down the ramp on game day or across the stage at graduation, every ticket you buy to a Bulldog game makes possible my scholarship and my chance later on to impact our local economy. 80% of Fresno State graduates stay here to do just that. So buy your tickets, because no matter what the score, our community wins every time.
Let's go, hey! Dogs on 3, 1, 2, 3, go!
Best tackling team in the country. Go. Gotta be the best tackling team in the country. Physical. Good. Gotta be quick. You know what's gonna happen? Quick. When you hit him, he's gonna come back the other way. That's where the ball don't need to go. That's a win for the defense. That ball going out, that's where the win for the defense. Love the communication, guys. Love the communication. Silent defense, dog defense. Just finish, finish, finish. Back, out, right. There you go, better, better. I'm about to recruit some new receivers. Good job. That's a nice job being with the quarterback and staying deep in case they try to take off and go. That's smart, Alan, right? If I'm turning and I'm running that way, I got to stick my left foot in the ground to come back to a 45, okay? Here we go. Proper foot. There we go. Back. Out. Back. Good. Back. Boom. Good. 7 clicks in the ground now. 7 clicks on your front. Back. Boom. Good. Good break. Ah! Yeah! Yeah! Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nice job, James. There you go, James. That boy, James. Deep Tyrone tack. Hey, James, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I got to make the same mistake twice.
You doing good?
Yeah.
So good practice today, huh? Concentrate the whole day.
Yes, sir.
2 hours, concentration, that's all I want. What's up, Big Nick? We getting better?
Yes, sir.
You liking O-line?
Oh, yeah.
Love it. You're staying there forever. Let's work our feet a little bit now. Work our feet. Hey, all you guys starting to cue with this little sidearm thing. Catch it here. You're gonna have guys there. Get it up and over. And get it, finally go up the numbers. Just keep them up the numbers. Keep them up the numbers. You're checking the safety first quarters, outside post, and now keep your eyes right on the rally. Here we go, hit it. Quicker quarterbacks, quicker with the feet, quarterbacks. Game-like speed, let's go, game-like, timing, get it right, let's go. Gotta know what it's gonna feel like. Good job, pause, pause, pause. Hut, get up. Say good. Give him a chance, give him a chance, give him a chance. Get up. Be patient. Tell them that's it, good, that's it. Say good, good. Let's go next up, let's go, next up. Woo-hoo. Watch that safety. That's it. Good. Here we go. I'll be the safety. Boom, come up. Bam, high ball over top. Get up. That's it, good, that's good, that's perfect. It's good. You're left receiver?
Oh, yeah.
No, who's left? You left?
Yeah.
So you're gonna go in motion, boom. Oh, it's my favorite song right here. Turn this up! My song right here. Gets me right. Webb, do you love this music? Louder! This gets me right.
Bulldog Stadium has served as the root of the Valley's football pride since 1980. The foundation laid by legends of the past has empowered the Bulldogs of now to continue the home-winning tradition. The house that Sweeney built has left opponents battled, bruised, and defeated. The roar of the red wave reverberates within the bowl after each crossing into the checkered haven. Fresno State Football at Bulldog Stadium, soaring high into the future.
What you wanna do? Amen. Amen. Amen.
It's here. The Bulldogs start Saturday night, 5 o'clock in Lincoln, Nebraska, and Coach DeRuyter is here to talk about it. Coach, you got to see a couple games over the weekend, I'm sure. College football is back. What are you looking forward to this week?
Well, I'm looking forward to having our guys back out for the first time. But before talking about that, I think it is noteworthy to point out that I guess Fresno State recently had a press conference announcing that Washington Monthly named our university as a top 25 university. Anytime you're including with the likes of Stanford, MIT, and Harvard, I think that's pretty impressive. So, congratulations to Dr. Castro and our entire university and staff. It's a great honor. But on the heels of that, yeah, we're excited about the game this week. When you've been banging heads for 3 weeks, you're in camp mode. It tends to be a grind. We finally get a chance to get into game week and focus on an opponent, and what a great opportunity and challenge that we're going to have this week. Playing one of the storied programs in college football, great stadium, great fan base. Our guys are really looking forward to it.
Well, you mentioned Fresno State being a top 25 university. You go out there and beat Nebraska, and you guys will have some votes for a top 25 football program.
No doubt, but that's a lot easier said than done. We're going to go out there with a very young team, but a team that's going to play with a ton of fight. Guys that understand that we have an opportunity that you don't get very often. When you play these kind of programs, it can give you that national name, and we're going to attack it like that this entire week. And we'll go out on Saturday and let's go see what happens.
I know Nebraska's had a lot of personnel changes, especially on the D-line, but offensively the playmakers are back. And that's a team, 7 losses last year, but 6 of those are a touchdown.
Yeah, no, they're a terrific team. When you watch that tape, when I look at it, particularly their offense, it's the number 2 total offense in the Big Ten, the number 2 passing offense. They've got weapons everywhere. They've got, 2 or 3 Bolitnikoff, award nominees. They've got a senior quarterback who started, I believe, for 4 years now. They have all the pieces together. I saw a show this morning talking about Nebraska being favored to win their division of the Big Ten. We know this is a terrific football program. Coach Riley, with his pedigree, has done a terrific job. And anytime a good coach like that gets into his second year in a system, typically they make quantum leaps. And so we know that the challenge is going to be huge. Fortunately, I think we've made big strides ourselves. I think defensively we're playing fast. We've got to get back to a defense that creates takeaways for us to have a chance. And then offensively, we've got to do a great job, holding on to the football, moving it, controlling the clock a little bit. But I'm excited about what Chasen's done with our offense and Coach Keeson and our entire staff. Uh-oh.
Tim, do you compare this at all to traveling to Ole Miss last year and traveling to USC? It's kind of a big.
Well, in the sense that these are marquee games against big name universities, yes, but this is a very, very different team right now. This is a team that's hungry, that got knocked down a year ago, that had to pick itself up, dust itself off, and is anxious for this challenge. And so, this is one of those legacy games. We have a legacy of playing anybody, anytime, anywhere, and that's one of the reasons you come to Fresno State, is to play in these types of games. So, yeah, to draw that association with those games, absolutely. But this year's team's making a point to make its mark on this season and let our fans know that, hey, this is not last year's Fresno State team. This is 2016.
Was there anything in one of those games that, as far as preparing, maybe especially last year, the team that seemed like it had a lot of new faces, was there anything that you learned as far as preparing young guys to go into an environment?
I don't know. I've taken teams into environments like that before. There wasn't anything new about going to the Grove other than they had a terrific football team. And when you turn the ball over and you don't create takeaways, it can get ugly. I think our guys, having a quarterback who's been in an environment like that before will help. The guys that played in those games, maybe you don't have the big eyes, of the big stadium, that you can get with young players at times because they've been through that before. But as far as coaches, we're just ready to get in the game and let our guys compete.
Is there any sense of relief for you to name the starting quarterback in the job?
Yeah, absolutely. The last 2 years we weren't fortunate enough to have a guy separate himself from the rest of the pack. And when you have that, you've got to let the guys compete. And when you sense that things aren't going the right direction, you got to make changes. And those things are difficult. We feel like Chasen has earned the right to be our starting quarterback. We know he's going to make some mistakes, We're gonna grow through those, and he's gonna grow as a quarterback, and I think he's gonna be terrific for us. So we're excited about him having earned that right, and excited to see him go do some things against other teams.
Did the fact that his teammates voted him a captain make that an even easier decision for
Well,
you?
I think it's solidified in our minds that we're making the right decision, that not only is he physically gifted and talented and understands the offense, those kind of things, but to me, the number one role of the quarterback is to lead, to take that offense. I think Derek did a terrific job when he was here, when he was in that huddle, everybody in that huddle believed we were going to score every time we had the ball. And I think Chasen has the faith of our entire team. When he gets in there, he's a steadying influence. He's got poise unlike any freshman I've ever been around. And to have the guy in that position, at the quarterback position, have that kind of poise and then have it recognized by his teammates, I think, really bodes well for us. And the fact that we named him starting quarterback just was natural because of it. They probably knew just because of the reps. I mean, we never announced anything up until last week at the Meet the Team. But the last week, he was getting all the reps with the ones. So I think it was pretty obvious to our players.
Once you made it official, did you notice something in practice as far as excitement level goes with the team?
No. I mean, our guys, I think it was a foregone conclusion. I'm sure Chasen was excited, and certain guys I'm sure were, but it was more of a case that, okay, yeah, coach figured this thing out. It's not that hard, because those guys knew.
Hey, Coach, a two-part question. One, what do you expect from your defensive back unit going up against a top quarterback in the Big Ten with all the skilled position players they have? And the second part is one of those skilled positions being Kenyon Williams, a former Fresno State standout. Is there extra motivation on the defensive staff to not have a big game?
Well, going to your first question, we know this is a big challenge. Anytime you get a chance to play against a quarterback of Tommy Armstrong's stature, a guy that was second in the Big Ten in passing, with the weapons they have, Biletnikoff award winners, or not award winners, but nominees, we know it's going to be a heck of a challenge. I like what Coach Ward's done with our secondary. I think Taekwon Glass really improved last year and has continued to improve over the spring and had a terrific camp. I think he can be one of the top corners in our conference. Jamal Ellis has played a ton of football. Mike Bell is really starting to come on. Juju Hughes he had a great camp, and he's going to travel. We're likely not going to redshirt him this year. And then we got some good news last week on Tank Kelly. So we feel we have some depth at corner. At the safety position, Deshaun Potts is really starting to come into his own as a leader, as a guy who can make plays at the safety position, and Stratton Brown's been steady for us there. So I believe that we'll be much improved on the back end. We're simplifying things for them so that they can just go out and play. And that's what we got to do, because we've got to create takeaways, and you can't do that if you're hesitant at all. You've got to go out and play as fast as you can and hopefully separate the ball from ball carriers. Going to the Keon part, Keon had a personal reason for going there. His dad's coach now at Nebraska. He's not going to be playing this game. There's no additional motivation for us. We wish him well and wish his family well, just not so much this Saturday.
Coach, you've been to Memorial Stadium. How would you describe just that atmosphere, and how do you prepare the guys for something like that?
Well, it's hard to describe unless you've been there. It's one of those places, kind of like Kyle Field at College Station, where there's a history, there's a tradition. The fans there are as good as there are anywhere in the country. It's going to be loud. You try to prepare your guys by, we have noise at practice. Obviously, we'll use a silent count a lot of the game. But until our guys go there and get punched in the mouth and punch back, it's all just anticipation. And so we'll have to go out there and, kick the thing off and hopefully get a bunch of guys, hitting pads and get a little of that anxiety out of them, early on in the game, so that, our guys are settled in. I go back to last year's game, and, one of our players who was a veteran player, we go to Ole Miss, he's on the punt team, and for the first punt, and it wasn't our first game. First time we have to punt, he runs off the field. I mean, he was just so excited and nervous or whatever, he'd forgotten that he was on the punt team. So, unfortunately, you have those situations that you practice and you practice and you practice, but until you get in that environment and go through the anxiety of being in that kind of situation. It's hard to predict, and it's hard to replicate that in any way.
Is there such a thing that these guys can be too hyped heading into this game?
Well, yeah, I think absolutely you can be.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking to our players all the time about that, about visualization. We had a bunch of our guys go to SEAL Fit training this summer and talk about some breathing techniques and visualization that I think will really help our guys. You know, it was very interesting meeting with Mark Devine and that staff down there about how the Navy SEALs train for a mission, and they get just as excited as anybody when they have to go do their mission. And what they use a lot of different types of breathing techniques to get them focused and really suppress that adrenaline and make them much more focused.
Coach, you mentioned Jude was going to travel with the team, that he had a good fall camp, but he's not the only freshman, especially on your defensive side of the ball, that's on the 2 deep here. Can you talk about some of those other younger guys and how they got where they are?
Yeah, Jeffrey Allison had a terrific camp. You know, I think he took advantage of the time when some of our other linebackers were banged up, and really shined in some of our scrimmages with how physical he plays, how well he runs at 255 pounds. I think he's going to be a terrific linebacker for us this year, and he's got a lot of just natural football knowledge. He picked up the package very, very well, and he's going to be a force for us. So it's exciting to see him. Really excited about Josh Hokett. Again, a guy who had some opportunities. Some guys were banged up, and he shined a ton. He'll play a bunch on special teams for us, and we're really excited about him. Elijah Piper, 305, 310-pound young man who can move, was very, very physical, and so defensively we've got some guys as freshmen that are going to play. Offensively, I'm trying to think. We had 3 running backs, but we banged all of them up. One of them would have played, and we're still hoping to get Savion back here fairly quickly. I'm trying to think who else. I don't have the list in front of me. But those are the freshmen that stand out in my mind that are going to be playing right away for us.
I think you got them, actually.
Okay,
that was it. Yeah,
thanks.
I think you're good.
With the running back position, you have Dontel James listed as a starter here. How do you expect that to play out between him and DeJounte in Lincoln?
Well, fortunately, Dontel had the surgery about a week and a half ago, maybe coming up on 2 weeks here, but has really progressed well off of that. He's been in live practices since and looks great, has had no issues with it. I would imagine he's going to get a majority of the reps. DeJounte is kind of like our knuckleballer coming out of the bullpen. He's a change-up back for us. He really has a very different skill set than Dontel, but I think they match each other where, a defense has got to get ready for a 225-pound back that's going to be coming downhill, and another one who can really run and make people miss. And, we'll use both of them.
Anything else? Coach, Nebraska,
I can hear you.
They had quite a bit of turnovers last year. So do you see that being an area of potential where you guys can maximize going into this year?
Well, we've not done a very good job in the last 2 years of creating takeaways. And when you go through a 5-7 or 3-9, typically it's the turnover margin that makes the difference. And I don't know their exact number, but I agree with you. They had more turnovers than what they'd hoped. Our game plan, our hope this week is that we absolutely win the turnover battle as we do every week. If we do that and can net +2 or 3, I think we got a great shot. If we're -2 or 3, it's going to be a tough battle on Saturday. So it's something that we stress, we harp all the time. Both sides of the ball, securing the ball as well as taking it away, and I think that'll be a great indicator of how the game will turn out depending on that turnover margin.
Coach, one of the things I noticed when I went to Lincoln 5 years ago is how when the Bulldogs entered the stadium, not a single Nebraska fan booed, right? They cheered their team, but they didn't boo the Bulldogs. Now, I don't know if Oklahoma gets the same reception, but what's your experience at Nebraska, and is that unique to them, or is that a Midwest thing? And what's it like to play in a place where you don't get booed?
I think it's unique to Nebraska. I know at Texas A&M, they took pride in the fact that they wouldn't boo other teams, even that school in Austin. It's one of the few places in college football that's that way. I think they've got extremely classy fans that want to see great football, and they've been treated to it for a long time, there in Lincoln. we're excited to go in that environment and go play. It's going to be different. You know, we're used to going to places where there's an adversarial crowd. Obviously, you'll notice by the noise that they're for the Big Red, but it's going to be a little bit unique in that they won't be, you know, overtly against, you know, the Bulldogs.
Do you think they're really that nice, or do they just like want to smile while they're kicking your butt?
Well, I'm sure that's what it is a little bit, is that they want to be classy while they're kicking your tail. But I think that's just part of who they are. That's their culture, is that, you know, we're gonna do things the right way. You know, I've talked to a bunch of fans that were there 5 years ago, and they said their fans couldn't have been nicer at tailgates. I mean, that's just who they are. They love college football. I think they love everything about it, and they want to have a great experience. Obviously, they want to win, but you know, they want to have a great experience with the opposition as they come in.
And you're not expecting the niceness to carry over to the actual Cornhusker football team, right?
Oh no. We know that that's going to be a battle, and you know, Coach Riley's. You know, you look at his past. I think they won 3 of the last 4 games last year, beating UCLA and beating Michigan State, in a close loss to Iowa. So we know this is a terrific football, you know, team, great program. Going into their backyard is going to be very, very difficult.
With having the 3-win season last year, do you feel like there's any more pressure heading into the season?
There's pressure every single year. You know, whether you're defending a title or coming off a 3-9. You know, as coaches, all you got to do is control what you can control, and that is getting our guys coached up, having them ready to play, having them excited to play, and hopefully putting them in position where they can make plays, because ultimately it's up to our players. But as coaches, we want to put them in great positions and have them playing as fast as they possibly can. And I think, you know, this camp has gotten us to where we're getting close to that.
And with kind of a down year, how do you get the fan base excited for the season coming up?
Well, I'm hoping that they look at this as a totally different year. We've got a lot of new faces. I think by how we play this week will be a great indicator of that. You know, we're a team that's going to be young, but we've got a very talented team that I think will be readily apparent. You know, we got to take care of the ball. You know, a year ago I talked about we had a bunch of band players, you know, where we weren't sure if our band's going to be playing or their band. And you can't give up big plays on defense. You know, we have some guys that can make some things happen, and we've got to be able to limit the big plays against us. You know, we've got to make big plays on offense. We've got some, I think our skill positions are very, very good. I think our wide receiver crew is as good as, you know, as it's been since we've been here. But we've got to be able to take care of the football and on the flip side, take it away.
Any last questions for Coach?
Coach, how important specifically on the offensive side of the ball is it to move the ball or move the chains early on in the game and not go too many 3-and-outs to sustain a few drives early on?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, one of the difficult things we had going to Ole Miss last year was that we were going fast and not getting first downs. You know, you put a lot of extra stress on that defense when you do those kind of things. We're going to try to come up with a plan to, you know, effectively move the ball, obviously. But that's going to be key. We've got to get first downs, keep our defense off the field. I think by emphasizing the run game a little bit more, we'll be able to, you know, control the clock a little bit better than maybe what we've done in the past. But we're still going to be fast. You know, we've got to spread these guys out and make their tongues hang out a little bit, you know, before we hit some fastballs on them. And hopefully we'll make them, you know, run the entire field and maybe get a little gas before doing that.
Anything else?
Well, you know, I've seen them against us, and I know that our starters right now, I feel we're pretty solid right there. You know, our next 1, 2, 3 guys, we're still trying to develop who those, you know, next guy in the games are. I think we're going to get there, you know, hopefully by the time our league starts, that will be solidified into, you know, who those top 6, 7, 8 guys are. But until we see competition like we're going to see this week, you won't know who you have up front. But I know our guys are up for that challenge. I know Coach Weber's as good as there is in the game at getting guys ready to play. He's got our guys with a hard edge mindset to them, and we're going to continue to, you know, improve on that.
All right, let's let Coach go. We'll bring up senior wide receiver Aaron Peck.
So that's Coach Tim DeRuyter, and now one of the team captains, Aaron Peck, will step to the podium. And Saturday night, 5 o'clock kickoff. Going to be a big day, Ryan. What,
yeah,
2 o'clock, get it rolling?
Still kind of weird that we're already here doing this today. Coach's show on Wednesday, and then it's game time already on Saturday.
Yeah, that'll be Wednesday, 6 o'clock at the Doghouse Grill if you want to come see Coach DeRuyter. And now Aaron Peck stepping up to the microphone. Aaron, how long you been waiting for this week to get here?
About a year. About a year, man. Since surgery last year, so it's been a long time.
Did you make yourself any promises or tell yourself anything or have someone else speak into you at that point that kind of puts today and this week in perspective now?
For the longest time, I've just been telling myself, just through like rehab and all the practices and everything, this is why I did it all, So, just having this moment come back, it's kind of surreal for me to be in my 5th year. It's game week. I'm excited. I'm just ready to get back on the field.
First question for Aaron.
Hello. Nebraska, usually not so well on the passing defense. How much confidence do you have that, Chasen can throw it up to you to bring down?
I have all the confidence in the world in him. He's been balling since he's been here pretty much. So, through the spring, last year he got hurt. And we were both hurt on the sideline, so we did a lot of talking and communicating then. And once we've been back in the spring, through the summer, and through the fall camp, we've just taken all that time to really develop that chemistry. And, he has that trust in me that I'll go make the play for him. So.
How does it feel to turn on the TV and see yourself, Aaron, flip on the radio and hear your voice? Have you had any interesting reactions from being the spokesman for the school's ad campaign?
It's fun, just seeing myself like when I'm hanging out with friends and the commercial come on and stuff like that. I haven't really heard the radio one yet. I'm not much of a radio guy, but it's cool, I know a lot of like my fellow student athletes here. They kind of clown and tease me, whatever, for the commercial, but I like it. I've gotten some good responses saying it's been well. Professors have, talked to me about it. Like I went to BJ's Country Kitchen down Cedar, and one of the waitresses was like, "Oh, I've seen your commercial." So, it's fun. It's a real cool experience.
And what would you say is the biggest difference when you go on the road to one of these big environments?
Biggest difference? You mean like compared to like a normal Mountain West game? You mean?
Yeah.
Stadium size is always that huge thing. It's so loud you can't hear yourself talk. So, anywhere we go, it's like the world against us. We have that same mindset. But just a place like this and a real storied program, I feel like it's important just to make sure all the guys are, together and just, it's football at the end of the day, no matter where we are. So, it's just, as long as our guys are ready to play, no matter where we are, I feel like we're fine.
I thought it was interesting if you're listening to Coach talking about the breathing exercises you guys learned with Navy SEALs. Is there anything that you found is it easy to calm yourself down in that situation?
Yeah, the box breathing with the SEAL Fit crew, I think it helps a lot, just, in the locker room before it's game time, you hear everybody just going crazy, stomping in the stadium, everybody yelling, their whole little pregame routine and whatnot. So I think just having that time and that mental preparation just before the game, just relaxing, thinking about your game, I think that's very important.
Is there anything you would offer advice-wise to some of these younger guys who are going to be in this kind of environment for the first time?
Like I said earlier, it's just football. It's just play, there'll be some pregame jitters, it's the first game of the season. In a place like Nebraska, it's going to be very exciting. Emotions are going to be going everywhere. But once you settle in and just realize it's another football game, I feel like you'll be fine.
Have you had any of your younger teammates ask you questions in regards to this game, opening up compared to USC 2 years ago?
Yeah, some of the guys have just asked me, like how is it, how's it going to be? Because, they've never played in a stadium that size. Most of us have barely played in stadiums those sizes. So, just coming to me, asking me, like, how the environment is, how it's going to be like on the sideline, just, little things, just, nothing too major. It's the same message I'm telling you guys, it's just football. You know, just line up and play your game.
With the loss that you guys endured to Nebraska 2 years ago, how much does that motivate you in this game?
I mean, a lot. You know, they really got after us in 2014 here in Bulldog Stadium. It's a game I like to forget, but just having that in the back of my mind kind of makes me mad that, you know, we played horribly that game, and I mean, just makes me that more anxious to come out and play well. Exactly. Yep. I don't know a stadium where I haven't been booed yet, so this will be.
Nebraska, their fans are pretty well known for not booing the
Yeah.
opposing team. Were you aware of that? And you think is that going to be weird?
Somebody told me that. Malik Meisenheimer, one of our old players, he told me that because he went down there in 2011 with the whole crew. He said they didn't boo, and it was weird. He said they just love football out there, so they're just out there to enjoy the experience. I don't think it'll be weird, you know, because, I mean, once the game starts, all 90,000, 100,000 will be screaming at the top of their lungs, so I feel like it'll be the same.
Anything else?
I know you got hurt last year at about this time, so for you this is a different experience. But as far as the team as a whole, if you could speak, what's the biggest difference between last year's fall camp and this year's as you guys approach the season?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really know. I mean, at this point, I was crutching around trying to get my foot better. I know just the vibe around the team and everything was a little bit different. I think now we have more of, you know, just like that chip on your shoulder, you know, just like, wow, we came off that 3-9 season and we're all hungry to ready to make plays, you know, come out and ball out. Because, I mean, the 2014 year, we went to the Mountain West Championship game and all that, but just losing the Hawaii Bowl and all that, I feel like we had that edge, but it just wasn't the same. It took that 3-9 year for us to really realize that, hey, we need to come out and play or we're going to get embarrassed. So I think through the summer workouts with Stallworth and the fall camp, I think the guys are really ready to go.
And then the guys in your group, is it almost for the younger ones a blessing in disguise that you weren't able to play last year? I mean, obviously for you get to play this year, so that's great for you. But that they got those reps and they got that time in, because you look at your position group, the receivers, it's pretty arguable that that's the strongest group you guys have.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely good for those guys to get a lot of game experience. I mean, I know I didn't play, but I mean, like you said, it allowed those guys to get more time in and really get used to the college game and stuff like that. So I feel like, I guess you can't say it's a blessing in disguise, you know. I feel like those guys are definitely more prepared now to play in a place like Nebraska and against the rest of our Mountain West opponents. So, you know, I feel like it's good.
And I know you were in the room listening to Coach DeRuyter, and I'm sure you heard it when he said that he feels that this receiving group is as good as any time he's been here.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember your sophomore year when you had 3,000-yard receivers playing in front of you. So that's pretty high praise. What does that mean to you? Hear your coach say that about you guys before you played a game?
Yeah, I mean, he trusts us, you know. That makes me feel like when we're put in those situations, should we throw the ball? Should we run the ball? Can we trust our guys outside? I feel like he has a trust in us to really allow us to go out and make plays. And I feel like he'll be leaning on us most of the season to, you know, make those plays and be dependable targets down the field. So, I mean, I'm glad. I'm glad DeRuyter feels that way about us, and I'm excited.
Challenges be for you and the rest of the wideouts going up against Nebraska's defense?
I mean, the same challenges against any other defensive back core, I guess. I mean, those guys are their corners are tall. I think one's like 6'1", and I'm not sure about the other one, but these are some of the taller guys we'll see throughout the season. I mean, they're in the Big 10, Big 12, or whatever. So, I mean, they're pretty skilled guys on the outside, but I mean, I trust our guys. I mean, me, Keyshawn, Hardaway, Damari, Jameer. I trust all of our guys to make plays against them. I mean, they're football players at the end of the day. So.
All right, thank you.
That senior wideout, Aaron Peck, returns to action. Missed last year after the injury in fall camp, and what an opportunity. What a way to potentially start his senior year with a bang at Nebraska Saturday night. 5 o'clock kickoff, game day live.